Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe dito.
Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko, lumilipad na naman ang isip ko. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko, lumilipad na naman ang isip ko. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko, na para bang ako'y nasa kalangitan. Sa tuwing simbamayan, aking matitikman. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko, na para bang ako'y nasa kalangitan. Sa tuwing simbamayan, aking matitikman. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Shotgun, shotgun, ganja, ganja, Buddha, Buddha. Shotgun, shotgun, ganja, ganja, Buddha, Buddha. Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Sa mga oras na kasama ka, mundo ko ay nag-iiba. Huwag laban di mapapansin, sumasaya ko sa'yo. Pagpili ka na parang lumulit ang isipan. Sa kalawakan at akin nalilimutan. Suliranan at ang mga kaibigan. Tawanan at tawanan lang at ilabas mo na rin ang pagkain at iyainaang. Manalin at tingin na papawis sa paningin ng lalamunan. At sinihamulin natin ang mahiwag ang dahon na nagbibigay. Nagulay sa mga bagay na pagpunay ka na parang lumulit ang isipan. Sa kalawakan at akin ihipa ka na isipan. Sa kalawakan at akin nalilimutan. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Shotgun, shotgun, ganja, ganja, Buddha, Buddha. Shotgun, shotgun, ganja, ganja, Buddha, Buddha. Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Ikaw ang ninanais na makasama. Ang mundo ko'y lumiligaya. Para bumibigat aking mga mata, para bang ako ay naguguto. Na naman pagkain ang ihaina. Masarap pa na sa akin na para ba nakaluto sa hangin. Na para ba lumulot sa hangin. Bumabagal lang takbo ng oras-oras sa akin. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko, na para bang ako'y nasa kalangitan. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko, na para bang ako'y nasa kalangitan. Sa tuwing simbamayan, aking matitikman. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na.
Wednesday 420 habit. Safe.
Gusto mo bang tikman? Gusto mo bang tikman? Maranasan mo. Sinasabi ko sa'yo na para ka na dun sa alapata. Masarap ang usok na parang una. Hinahanap sa bawat sandali. Di ko mapigilan makangiti, parang kinikiti. Silihan na natin at muni natin nasa pinagkakaibang dulot niya. Kakaibang dulot niya. Mahiwaga, mariwana. Simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Ang simoy ng hangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. kalangitan sa tuwing sumangaya'y aking natitigman. Lumilipad na naman ang isip ko na parabang ako nasa kalangitan sa tuwing sumangaya'y aking natitigman. Ang siminahangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Ang siminahangin sa akin ay lumalamig na. Yeah! Ayos! Magkamumayan na. That was something from One Thugs.
Your Wednesday 420 habit.
When we calm down.
Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe dito.
When we calm down, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We dreaming safe and sound, better know why. And baby, that's all I got. When we calm down, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We dreaming safe and sound, better know why. And baby, that's all I got. And baby, that's all I got. Is this the kind of sound that you wanna hear? Is this the kind of vibe that you wanna feel? Cause I'm the type of guy that you never feel. You can do your thing, then come near. Maybe I'm caught up in the thing that you know I like. So we can make time, maybe overnight. Or we could make our grand escape, and we can walk on a break. I'm all about the look that you're giving me. I'm all about the dance, also let it free. I'm all about the sweet sound and love is free. So listen to my melody, and maybe I'm caught up in the thing that you know I like. So we can make time, maybe overnight. Or we could make a grand escape. We can walk by the way. While we calm down, oh yeah, yeah. We'll be dreaming safe and sound, better know why. And baby, that's all I got. When we calm down, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll be dreaming safe and sound, better know why. And baby, that's all I got. And baby, that's all I got. It is the kind of sound that you wanna hear. It is the kind of vibe that you wanna feel. And you're the type of girl, make me unreal. Check it one time, what's the deal? Maybe I'm caught up in the thing that you know I like. So check it one time, maybe overnight. And we could make a grand escape, and we can walk by the way. When we calm down, oh yeah, yeah. We'll be dreaming safe and sound, better know why. And baby, that's all I got. When we calm down, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll be dreaming safe and sound, better know why. And baby, that's all I got. And baby, that's all I got. When we calm down, oh yeah, yeah. we dreaming safe and sound, better know why. Baby, that's all I got. Where we come down, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We dreaming safe and sound. Hey. And baby, that's all I got. And baby, that's all I got, yeah. Yes. Kapa. Alak.
Ay, si DJ Moist. Tinutulak ka. Magandang gabi.
Your Wednesday 420 habit. Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe season.
Here's something from my club. Hey! I am done! Lord, I'm on a permanent holiday. I'm going outside to play. I ain't gonna slave away. The phone of corporate Babylon. I'm never gonna be a part of manipulation. Yeah, hold on, taking it right, so breaking it right. Never gonna live away. My prophet is savage set. No preacher or president can lead or get straight. I never know. I'm taking down. Home, I got my own path to follow. Don't leave your lover stand. I got my own truth to swallow. And you know that if I could, you know I would throw my guitar and pick up that slack and leave here tomorrow. But at the time upon the Babylon, got to face the praise the accent. But she changed my soul. That's why I'm on a permanent holiday. I'm going outside to play. I ain't gonna slave away. The phone of corporate Babylon. I'm never gonna be a part of that manipulation. Yeah. 1,000 years of captivity must eventually open up our eyes and see the manipulating we with so much uncertainty and so many mysteries. I was of you questioning the unnatural state of things. It's a nightmare. We're living a nightmare. Everyone's living so scared, virtually unaware of these fears that rules their lives, occupies and shapes our minds. This fear of bankruptcy, financial impotency. It's money, 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 money. So this digital currency, oh yeah. So this money, money, money keeps us from ever being free. the day that I will seek the revelation, make my life a celebration. I will be the change of music, manifest the words and speak, and I refuse to be imprisoned. I will make my own decisions. I will be manipulated, my controlling in the day that I will seek the revelation, make my life a celebration. I wanna be the change of music and manifest the words and speak, and I refuse to be imprisoned. I will make my own permanent holiday. I'm going outside to play. I ain't gonna slave away, no. No for no corporate Babylon. I'm never gonna be a foreign. Hold on, tight, get it right, right, get it right. Never gonna deal. My prophet is savage, set, no pressure or prisoner. Can lead against choice. I never know, I'm taking down. Oh, yeah. I'll never go astray. Oh, na, 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 na. I believe in the past, you for what they try. You see the vision takes take back the power. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Take back what they have stolen from our hearts. Take back the esoteric knowledge. Along for too long they've been keeping us apart. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Humanity, let this be a vital war. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Humanity, let this be a vital war. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Humanity, let this be a vital war. Take back the knowledge. Take back the power. Humanity, let this be a vital war. Take back the knowledge, take back the power. Humanity, don't let this be a final hour. Take back the knowledge, oh, take back the power. Humanity, don't let this be a final hour.
Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe dito.
Space created.
Para to sa para sa kapatid ko.
Kaya Radio, Wednesday 420 habit. Safe dito.
Isang alaala. Mag-umaga na naman, tahimik na nag-aabang, magigising para bumangot magdasal. Tapos bigla mawawala, nagigitara na pala, tumutugtog kahit wala pang almusal. At doon lahat nagsimula, magkahalong kaba at saya. Unti-unti ko nararamdaman, o kapatid magpagkaya Ikaw ang nagbigay ng daan, nagsilbing gabay sa kamunduhan. Liwanag ay sisikat, nakangiti, nakangiti, alaalay naririto nagliliyab sa ating paglalakbay. Nakangiti, nakangiti, alaalay naririto nagliliyab.
Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 happy. Safe
Ilang araw ang nagdaan, pasimpleng nag-aagawan, lumang gitara ng ama ang laruan. Tagniyang nakaligtaan, unti-unting kinabahan, pati ako na nakapag-almusal. Sumigaw ang galit na ina, kami ay nagtalunan bigla. Patawad na po at kakain na. Ang kapatid magpagkailan pa man, ikaw ang nagbigay ng daan, nagsilbing gabay sa kamunduhan. Liwanag ay sisikat, nakangiti, nakangiti, alaalay naririto nagliliyab sa ating paglalakbay. Nakangiti, nakangiti, alaalay naririto nagliliyab, pinagsamahang binuklod at sinubog ng panahon. Humayo ka at muling yakapin ang imahinasyon. Liwanag ay sisikat, nakangiti, nakangiti, alaalay naririto nagliliyab sa ating paglalakbay. Nakangiti, nakangiti, alaalay naririto nagliliyab. Liwanag sa paglalakbay, alaalay naririto nagliliyab. Yung alaala, nagawa tong kantang to dahil gusto kong i-preserve yung isang bit ng memory namin ng kapatid ko. Nung mga panahon na nagsisimula pa lang kaming matutong tumugtog ng gitara. Yeah. Yun yung mga nangyayari nun.
Mga memories. Nawawala na lang, tumutugtog na pala.
It's all about music still. Tungkol pa rin sa music yan.
Tumatakas para mag-ensayo.
Oo, nag-uunahan kaming gumising. Oo, di ba? Motivation.
Your Wednesday 420 habit.
Dedicated to sa lahat ng tao sa buong mundo. Hindi man nila kayang i-translate to, pero para pa rin to sa kanila.
Kaya Radio, Wednesday 420 habit. Safe eating.
Gamitin ang damdamin upang maitama ang mali. Gisingin ang kaluluwa upang makakita sa dilim. Limutin ang iyong galit upang musika ay magbalik. Baunin ang saya tuwa, bigyan ng pag-asa ang ngiti. Nasa'yo ang susi sa tunay na pag-ibig. Mabuhay, mabuhay ka, kasabayang magigitig. Mabuhay, mabuhay ka, magising sa panaginip. Sa iyong paghawak ng labis na ilalarawan mong muli, mga halik na siyang papalit sa mga sugat ng iyong labi. Hindi ka man dugumugaw, huwara na ikaw pa rin ang siyang mananaig. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Patawagin mo ang sarili at bitawan ng pagkamuhi. Pangarap mo ay makakamit, basta't buhunan ay dugo't pawis. At positibong pananaw, basta't ika'y uhaw, malayo ang mararating. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Nasa'yo ang susi sa tunay na pag-ibig. Mabuhay, mabuhay ka, kasabayang magigitig. Mabuhay, mabuhay ka, magising sa panaginip. Mabuhay, mabuhay ka, kasabayang magigitig. Mabuhay, mabuhay ka, magising sa panaginip. Mabuhay, magising sa panaginip. Magising sa panaginip, kasabay ng magigiting. Kasabay ang magigiting. ang susi sa tunay na pag-ibig. Yeah, 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 yeah. Nasa'yo ang susi sa tunay na pag-ibig.
Yeah. Alak. Ay, salamat.
Your Wednesday 420 habit. Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe Ito.
Do you wanna sail away? I wanna sail away. Do you wanna sail away with me today? Do you wanna sail away? I wanna sail away. Do you wanna sail away with me today? Yeah, I always wanted just to leave it all behind us. You and me were dreaming, not a clever mind. Our wind is our freedom, knowing where we find our plan to be keeping. See, this is freedom. Never thought that there was more to life than we see. Rock race, dynamite, running in the weekend. Brainwashed, think we cannot leave. Open up your eyes, now a freeze. Aqua blue water is all I see. Bluer than the sky and it's all so deep. Say, island to island, it's you and me. Ja as a guide now, one more we need. So sail away, I wanna sail away. Do you wanna sail away with me today? Do you wanna sail away? I wanna sail away. Do you wanna sail away with me today? Daydreaming about sunscreen and salty air, breeze
Kaya
through my
Radio,
hair,
Wednesday,
canvas
420 habit.
marine,
Safe
flip-flop bikinis. You and me sailing on the sea, go to Hawaii, my bay, and sun, the stars shining on Hanalei. We can just stay. Ocean, carry on, let the reefs of merry on. Ooh, I'm coming with you, coming, sail away. I wanna sail away. Do you wanna sail away with me today? Do you wanna sail away? I wanna sail away. Do you wanna sail away with me today? Grinding on your 9 to 5, we can leave the worries behind us. Oh baby, I want to just leave them. Yeah. Who said you can't run? Nobody, no, nobody. Grinding on your 9 to 5, we can leave the worries behind us. Oh baby, I want to just leave them. Yeah. Who said you can't run? Nobody, no, nobody. Who said you can't run? Life is supposed to be fun. Said you can't run. Life is supposed to be fun. We're sailing away, 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 away. Yo. That was something from Loved Ones.
Ang sarap naman. Uy, ang dami ng comments pala. Oh, grabe.
Chong Dantes, Tatot Palahi.
Your Wednesday 420 habit. Kaya Radio, Wednesday 420 habit. Safe.
Iparin mo sa ulap, sisirin mo sa dagat, hukayin mo sa lupa, baka naroon ang kalayaan. Tayo ba'y mga taong-taungan sa isang dulang pangkalawakan, mga anino ng nakaraan, ibig ng kinabukasan. Iparin mo sa ulap, sisirin mo sa dagat, hukayin mo sa lupa, baka naroon ang kalayaan. Tayo ba'y mga saranggola, naglalaro ng himpapawid, makakawala ba sa pagkakatali pag naputol mo ang pisik? Iparin mo sa ulap, sisirin mo sa dagat, hukayin mo sa lupa, baka naroon ang kalayaan.
Kaya Radio, Wednesday 420 habit. Safe.
Tayo ba'y mga sunod-sunuran sa takda ng ating kapalaran? Kaya ba nating paglabanan ang sumpa ng kasaysayan? Iparin mo sa ulap, sisirin mo sa dagat, hukayin mo sa lupa, baka naroon ang kalayaan. Iparin mo sa ulap, sisirin mo sa dagat, hukayin mo Sisirin mo sa dagat, hukayin mo sa lupa, baka ayos.
Sarap. Ay, tingnan natin yung mga comments. Share ko lang, sinasabayan ko daw ng percussion, yung pagtugtog ni Tato at Sarap ka Jam. Fantasy band.
Salamat.
May fantasy band pala.
Your Wednesday 420 habit.
Oh, sige. Tara. Going to play something from Nairud. Request niya na ito eh. Nikulot, Maladyosa daw eh. Isang aswag Maladyosa.
Para kay Macy's.
Oo nga, ginawa ko tong kanta to para kay Mrs. eh.
Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe dito.
Ilang daang milya man ay aking lalakbayin, ilang bungang na dagat man ay aking sisisiri, ilang liblib na gubat man ay aking tatahakin. Basta't ang makita ka ay okay na sa akin. Babaeng maladyosa, ako ay pinagbala sa iyong ganda. Babaeng maladyosa, hihintayin kita hanggang tayo'y muling magkita.
Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe dito.
La la la, la 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 la. Noong ako'y nalulungkot at walang kasama, kasamang nagmamahal, kasamang umuunawa, kaya ako'y humingi ng tulong sa buong badhala at kanyang ibinigay magandang diwata. Diwata, ikaw ang buhay ko, diwata, ikaw ang pag-asa ko. Diwata, ikaw ang liwanag sa buhay kong madilim. Diwata, ikaw lamang ang aking iibigin. Ngunit sa pagdaan ng mga panahon, ako'y muling nalulungkot, dahil mukha mo'y di na muling nasilaya.
Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit.
Buhay ko'y bumalik sa kadiliman. Diwata, ikaw ang buhay buhay ko. Diwata, ikaw ang pag-asa ko. Diwata, ikaw ang liwanag sa buhay kong madilim. Diwata, ikaw lamang ang aking iibigin. Diwata, ikaw ang buhay ko. Diwata, ikaw ang pag-asa ko. Diwata, ikaw ang liwanag sa buhay kong madilim. Diwata, ikaw lamang ang aking iibigin. La la la, la la la, la 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 la. La la la, la la la, la 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 la.
Yes, dito.
Tinignan, alam niyo kung anong ginawa ko. Tinignan ko lang ulit yung lyrics eh. Kasi may isang word ako na nakalimutan naman.
Nabuhay lang ulit sa ano.
Ang tagal lang kasi itong kantang to eh. No?
Grabe. Sarap.
Wednesday 420 habit. Kaya Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit. Safe.
Lamis siyang bayanan, 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 lamis, lamis siyang bayanan, 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 lamis. Ikaw wala na'y daghan o paatik, diliniin nadik, pero tayo nalawa sa galagitik. Pati ka sa kumbaba, di ka pamitik. Kay lahi ka na klase, lahi ka kalibre. So baby, halin na dire. Binong abrihan na ne. Pagkalma siya't gana ko, be. Karong gabi kong napalayo, tas sa drama, ikaw o ako. Sa tapadunaw ako kabalo. Ayaw ka bala ka sa laing na taong kay wakaila. Sayaw sa natapiyong ang mata. Kining kanta ka, ikaw gadala. Kining kanta ka, ikaw gadala. Yeah. Lamis siyang bayhana, 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 lamis. Lamis siyang bayhana, 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 lamis. Tanan sakit na kaagi, adunay rason. Kung kusgan sa una, mas kusgan karon. Lahi kang bayhana, dili ka kumon. Buang sa una, gahapong gamata. Upago na storya, atong storyahan po.
Kaya Radio.
Si mama ikaw gibulong, babae na na ay tumong. Sa lumon ni ko na lawas kinhawag lalong. Ikaw ang gabi kong napalayo, tas sa drama ikaw o ako. Sa tapadunong ako kabalo. Ayaw ka bala ka sa lain na tao kay wakaila. Sayaw sa natapiyong ang mata. Kining kanta ka, ikaw gadala. Kining kanta ka, ikaw gadala. Lamis siyang bayhana, 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 lamis. Lamis siyang bayhana, 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 lamis. Yes.
Sarap nun. Yeah.
Siyempre sa lami.
Lami oo nga. Literally. Salamat daw Kuya Tato at Johan from Bacolod. Salamat sa lami. Yeah. Isang random.
Wednesday 420 habit.
Isa pong
Kaya
kanta
Radio, your Wednesday 420 habit.
galing
Safe
kay
dito.
Dong Abay. Nakakadena si amor, nakahawla ang dama de noche. Walang trabaho, bagong layang si Ador, reklamador, kundi ang magbilang ng poste. Mahirap, maging mahirap. Mahirap, maging mahirap. Mahirap, maging mahirap. Maging mahirap. Maging mahirap. Hahagulgol ang batang kulang sa sustansya. Malutong na nagmumura ang bungangerang ina. Uumbagan siya ng asawang sugarol na wala naman dalang delihensya. Mahirap maging mahirap. Mahirap maging mahirap. Mahirap maging mahirap. Maging mahirap. Maging mahirap. Sa ngalan ng mga ama at ina, kasama ang mga anak nila, Espiritu ng mga santo at santa, 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 Espiritu ng mga santo. Espiritu ng mga santo, Espiritu. Salam. Salam. Asik. Yoy, bay. Ano lang, jam-jam lang. Expression.
Wednesday 420 habit. Kaya
Ayos, salamat. Next song is about relationship. Sino bang may mga kasintahan dito? Sino may, let's be specific. Sino ba yung may mga LDR relationship dito? Sino ba? Ayan. Advice ko lang sa inyo is, stay strong, man. Stay strong. Believe in the power of love, man. Ako personally, naniniwala ako kasi itong kantang to, para to sa kasintahan ko. Kasi, personal experience ko nito. Andyan galing pa yung Singapore, so
Uncle J TV.
Halina't sumayaw sa ilalim ng araw, maghawak-hawak ng kamay, isigaw ng sabay-sabay. Halina't sumayaw sa ilalim ng araw, maghawak-hawak ng kamay, isigaw ng sabay-sabay kapayapaan. 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 Bam-bam-bam, bam-bam-bam, weh. Kapayapaan. Kulay man natin magkaiba, mundo natin ay iisa. Maghawak-hawak ng kamay, isigaw ng sabay-sabay kapayapaan. 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 Huy! Kapayapaan. Sana'y pag-ibig na lang ang isipin ng bawat isa sa mundo. Sana'y pag-ibig na lang ang isipin, sana'y magkatotoo. Bilog na naman ang buwan, ilabas na ang kalokohan. Wag nyo na pipigilan pa, sige na, sige pa, sige na. Ang toyo nyo'y lalabas din lamang. Wow! Pabilog na, bilog na, bilog na naman ang buwan sa mabalakan. Merong kapre, may tabakong sinde-sinde, sa sinag na bilog na buwan, siya'y nagdadabi na nakabigine. Bilog na naman ang buwan. Ilabas na ang kalokohan. Wag nyo na pipigilan pa, sige na, sige pa, sige na. Ang toyo nyo'y lalabas din lamang. Pabilog na, bilog na, bilog na naman ang buwan. Pabilog na, bilog na, bilog na naman ang buwan. Pabilog na, bilog na, bilog na naman ang buwan. Wali, 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 wali. Pabilog na, bilog na, bilog na naman ang buwan.
Uncle J TV.
Toto'y bilisan mo ang takbo. Ilagan ng mga bombang nakatutok sa ulo mo. Toto'y tumalon ka, tumapa kung kailangan. At baka tamaan pa ng mga balang ikaw. Toto'y makinig ka, huwag kang magpagabi. Baka pagkamalan pa't humandusay dyan sa tabi. Toto'y alam mo ba kung ano ang punot dulo nang di matapos-tapos na kaguluhang ito? Hindi pula dilaw, tunay na magkalaban. Ang kulay at tatak ay di siyang dahilan. Hanggat marami ang lugmok sa kahirapan at ang hustisya ay para lang sa mayaman. Habang may tatsulok at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos itong gulo. Ngunit na suminak kay daming mga tao, ang dating munting bukid ngayon'y semeteryo. Toto'y kumilos ka, baliktarin ang tatsulok, tulad ng dukha na ilagay mo sa tuktok. Hindi pula dilaw, tunay na magkalaban. Ang kulay at tatak ay di siyang dahilan. Hanggang marami ang lumok sa kahirapan at ang hustisya ay para lang sa mayaman. Habang may tatsulok at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos itong gulo. Habang may tatsulok at sila ang nasa tuktok, di matatapos itong gulo. Di matatapos itong gulo. Di matatapos itong gulo. Di mo maintindihan kung ba't ikaw ang napapagpan ng halik ng kamalasan. Kinapang mong marahan ng hagdanan para lamang makidlatan sa kaitaas-taasan. Ngunit kaibigan, huwag ka magpapasindak. Kaibigan, easy lang saya. Dahil wala ring mangyayari, dahil walang mapapala, huwag mong pigilan ang pagbuhos ng ulan. May panahon para maging hari, may panahon para madapa, dahil ang buhay natin ay sadyang ganyan. Umaraw, umuulan, umaraw, umuulan, ang buhay ay sadyang ganyan. Umaraw,
awa sa iyong sarili. Isipin na wala ka ng silbi sa dambuhalang kalokohan. Bukas sisikatin muli ang araw, ngunit para lang sa may tiyagang maghintay. Kaibigan, huwag kang magpapatalo. Kaibigan, itaas ang noo. Dahil wala ring mangyayari, dahil walang mapapala, huwag mong pigilan ang pagbuhos ng ulan. May panahon para maging hari, may panahon para madapa, dahil ang buhay natin ay sadyang ganyan. Umaraw, umuulan, umaraw, umuulan, ang buhay ay sadyang ganyan. Umaraw, umuulan. Oh, dahil wala ring mangyayari, tayo walang mapapala, huwag mong pigilan ang pagbuhos ng ulan. May panahon para maging hari, may panahon para madapa, dahil ang buhay natin ay sadyang ganyan. Umaraw, umuulan, umaraw, umuulan, ang buhay ay sadyang ganyan. Umaraw, umuulan.
Uncle J TV.
Kamukha mo si Paraluman nung tayo ay bata pa, at ang galing-galing mong sumayaw, mapabugi, mano at cha-cha. Ngunit ang paborito ay pasayaw mo ng El Bimbo. Nakakainda, nakakaliw, nakakatindi, balahibo. Pagkagaling sa eskwela ay didiretso na sa inyo, at buong maghapon ay tinuturuan mo ako. Makahawak ang aking katawan. Pag umikot na ang plaka, sabay sa kembot ng bewang mo at bungay ng iyong mga mata, lumiliwanag ang buhay habang tayo'y magkaakbay at dahan-dahang dumudulas ang kamay ko sa makinis mong braso. Sana noon pa man ay sinabi na sa iyo, kahit hindi na uso ay ito lang ang alam ko. Magkahawak ang ating kamay at walang kamalay-malay na tinuruan mo ang puso ko na umibig ng tunay. La 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 la, la la, la la, la la la, la 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 la, la la, la la, la la la. Lumipas ang maraming taon, di na tayo nagkita. Balita ko'y may anak ka na, ngunit walang asawa. Tagahugas ka raw ng pinggan sa may ermita, at sang gabi nasagasaan sa isang madilim na eskinita. Lahat ng pangarap ko'y bigla lang natunaw. Sa panaginip na lang pala kita maisasayaw. Magkahawak ang ating kamay at walang kamalay-malay na tinuruan mo ang puso ko na umibig ng tunay. Magkahawak ang ating kamay at walang kamalay-malay na tinuruan mo ang puso ko na umibig ng tunay. La 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 la, la la, la la, la la la, la 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 la, la la, la la, la la la.
Uncle J TV.
Dilim ang paligid, may tumawag sa pangalan ko. Isang palapag Tinanong kung okay lang ako, sabay abot ng baso. May naghihintay. At bakit ba pang nagsawa na ako, biglang ayoko na. At ngayon di pa rin alam kung ba't tayo nandito. Pwede bang itigil mo na ang pag-ikot ng mundo? Lumiwanag ang buwan, San Juan, di ko na nasasakyan. Ang lahat na ang bagay ay gumuguin na lang sa aking lalamunan. Ewan mo at ewan natin sinong may pakana. Bakit ba tumilapo ng gintong alak dyan sa paligid mo? At ngayon di pa rin alam kung ba't tayo nandito. Pwede bang itigil mo na ang pag-ikot ng mundo? Tiyak ang umaga, anong sinulat ni Enteng at Joey dyan sa gintong salamin? Di ko na maabasa pagkat merong nagmura. Kita kita sa isang magasin, dilaw ang iyong suot at buhok mo'y din sa isang tindahan. Sa may baklaran na patingin na tulala sa iyong kagandahan. Naalala mo pa ba nung tayo pang dalawa? Di ko inakalang sisikat ka, tinawanan pa kita. Tinawag mo kung walang hiya, eh medyo pangit ka pa noon. Ngunit ngayon, kasi iba na ang iyong ngiti, iba na ang iyong tingin, nagbago ng lahat sa'yo. Sana'y hindi na kita, sana'y walang problema, pagkat kulang ang dala kong pera. Pambili, pambili sa mukha mong maganda. Siguro ay may kotse ka na ngayon, rumarampa sa entablado, damit mo'y gawa ni Soto, at siguro'y malapit ka na ring sumali sa supermodel of the whole wide universe. Kasi iba na ang iyong ngiti, iba na ang iyong tingin, nagbago ng lahat sa'yo. Sana'y hindi na kita, sana'y walang problema, pagkat kulang ang dala kong pera. Kita kita sa isang magasin, at sa sobrang gulat, di ko napansin, bastos pala ang pamagat. Dali-dali niyang binuklat, at ako'y namulat sa huban na katotohanan. Kasi iba na ang iyong ngiti, iba na ang iyong tingin, nagbago ng lahat sa'yo. Sana'y hindi na kita, sana'y walang problema, pagkat kulang ang dala kong pera. Pambili, pambili sa mukha mong maganda. Nasaan ka na kaya? Sana ay masaya, sana sa susunod na issue ay centerfold ka na.
Uncle J TV.
Adik sa'yo, awit sa akin, nilang sawa na sa'king mga kwentong maraton tungkol sa'yo at sa ligaya iyong aking buhay. Tuloy ang bida sa isipan ko'y ikaw. Sa umaga't sa gabi, sa bawat minutong lumilipas, hinahanap-hanap kita. Hinahanap-hanap kita. Sa isip at panaginip, bawat pagpihit ng tadhana, hinahanap-hanap kita. Sabik sa'yo kahit maghapon na tayong magkasama, parang telesine. Ang ating ending hatid sa
No one cares, no one bothers. And no one even takes a second look.
Look at that.
Would you like
No
this
one
kind of
tubig.
life? There's so many flower fairies, and I have nothing special. No one cares, no one bothers. And no one even takes a second look.
Would you like this kind of life?
Turn yourself into one.
There's so many flower fairies, and I have...
The deep sea is a world of extremes. So far in this series, we've taken a look at the ways in which animals have adapted to survive in the cold, dark depths. We've explored the ecosystems of this unforgiving realm and seen how communities of life cling to whatever source of energy they can find, from vents of superheated water to the carrion of sunken whales. But now it's time to dive even deeper and discover a place where life is pushed to its absolute limits. For at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, the sea floor widens into a gaping abyss of obscurities. Fish that seem to lack faces, sprawling fields of bacteria, and giants that resemble life from another planet. Let's take a closer look at the hidden world of the Mariana Trench. The infamous Mariana Trench sits like a crescent-shaped dent in the floor of the Pacific. A 2,550-kilometer long, 69-kilometer wide fracture that plummets down into a pure black void. At the bottom, it hosts the deepest known location on Earth, the Challenger Deep, 11,033 meters or 36,200 feet beneath the waves. The trench itself is but one part of a global network of deep scars that cut across the ocean floor. Features that formed from a process called subduction. In the case of the Mariana Trench, the western edge of the Pacific Plate was thrust beneath the smaller Mariana Plate to the west, creating the deep fracture. Molten material then rose through volcanoes near the trench, building the nearby Mariana Islands. At its deepest point, the Mariana Trench dips down into a little explored zone of the ocean. The Hadal Zone, named after the realm Hades, the underworld of Greek mythology. A suitable title for a place where the conditions of pure darkness, acidic, freezing water, scarce food, and immense pressure create a challenging environment for creatures to survive in. For much of history, it was believed to be a dead zone, void of any life at all. An impossible frontier, and an empty void of perils that could never be reached by any human. But in the 19th century, this was all about to change. The Mariana's depths were first plumbed in 1875, when the crew aboard the HMS Challenger cast a weighted sounding line over the side of the vessel and found they needed more rope. They had not expected there to be a location so deep, but news of its discovery caught the eye of the ambitious. Knowing it existed simply wasn't enough, and a few dared to venture to the bottom. In 1960, 85 years after the Challenger Deep was discovered on that pioneering voyage, two men set out to reach the bottom. Jacques Piccard and Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh, sheltered only by a cramped bath-escape submersible called the Trieste. Their 5-hour descent was fraught with challenges. The water pressure near the bottom was nearly 1,000 times greater than atmospheric pressure at sea level. During the journey, this caused the viewing window to crack, limiting their time spent on the sea floor to only 20 minutes. Even in such a short amount of time, what they saw would shock the scientific community. Life, pale shrimp and flounder-like fish, along with what they described as a dark brown diatomaceous ooze that covered the sea floor. Picard described this moment with excitement in a book about the voyage. Here, in an instant, was the answer that biologists had asked for the decades. Could life exist in the greatest depths of the ocean? It could. When James Cameron followed in the Trieste's footsteps on board the Deep-Sea Challenger in 2012, he too saw the sprawling microbial mats. Bizarre-looking filamentous clumps of microorganisms living off chemicals from altered rocks, 10,912 meters, or 35,803 feet down in a sunless world. It is these bacteria that support more complex creatures, for without sunlight, larger animals must instead rely on the energy produced by bacteria undergoing chemosynthesis, the deep sea equivalent to photosynthesis. The footage you're seeing now was taken by an unmanned Japanese submersible called Kaiko in 1996. Having reached a depth of 10,897 meters, it marked the deepest dive for an unmanned submersible at the time. Its goal was to sample bacteria from the mats that Picard and Walsh had observed nearly 40 years earlier. They found that a number of these bacterial species appeared to be obligately barophilic, meaning they thrived under high environmental pressures, proving that the idea that life could only exist in more moderate conditions was flawed. But in 1998, Kaiko returned to the Challenger Deep and stumbled upon more complex life. Hierondelia gigas, a gigantic amphipod species. This discovery posed a bit of a mystery. The extreme pressures of the deep sea cause calcium carbonate that makes up the shells of amphipods and many marine animals to dissolve more readily in water, leaving their soft bodies vulnerable. As such, amphipods are not usually found below about 5,000 meters or 16,400 feet. And yet here in Kaiko's lights was a giant amphipod, retaining even its tough exoskeleton. It has since been found that they protect their shells using a form of aluminium armor, using chemicals in their gut to extract aluminium ions from the seafloor mud while they forage for food. In their role as detrivores, these amphipods occupy a key role in the ecosystem. They act as a cleanup crew, possessing enzymes that are able to digest even wood. In more recent times, remote submersibles have caught yet more oddities of the Mariana Trench in their headlights. Among the most abundant inhabitants are the holothurians, sea cucumbers, like the remarkable sea pig with its ring of feeding tentacles that it uses to sift through the mud and grab onto food. Some scientists believe that Picard's fish was, in fact, a sea cucumber, for it is thought that fish are unable to survive where the pressure is so great that it would dissolve the bones of any vertebrates. The deepest known fish thrives at depths of 8,000 meters, or 26,200 feet. Still 2 kilometers above the Challenger Deep. The Mariana snailfish, discovered in 2014, yet given the scientific name Pseudoliparis swirae, to commemorate Sub-Lieutenant Herbert Swire from the HMS Challenger. But snailfish and amphipods are not the only oddballs found in the trench. Gigantic xenophyonophores grow to be 20 centimeters in diameter, yet consist of only a single cell. Predatory tunicates called sea squirts anchor their bodies to the sides of canyons in wait of passing prey, while deep-sea hatchetfish use bioluminescence to blend in with their surroundings. While only glimpses of these otherworldly organisms have been recorded, their abundance goes to show that life will always find a way to survive, even when faced with the intense challenge of living at the heart of the ocean's underworld. Despite all the expeditions and the footage that's been gathered, we have still only just begun to dip our toes into the hidden world of the Mariana Trench. It is likely that many new species await discovery and will help us piece together the puzzle of how animals can survive such extremities. Researching the Mariana's microorganisms could lead to vital breakthroughs in biomedicine and biotechnology, and shed light on the story of life's emergence on planet Earth. But even the furthest depths are within reach of human-driven destruction. Already has plastic been found in a place we scarcely understand. Who knows what vital discoveries might vanish before we come to understand their importance. This portion of the video is sponsored by NordVPN. To explain to those of you living down in the bathypelagic zone who might not know what a VPN is, it stands for Virtual Private Network, and essentially does for you what bioluminescence does for the bloody belly comb jelly. It protects your identity and keeps you hidden online. Connect with one click and choose from over 5,300 servers in 59 countries for a fast, safe online experience, giving you access to websites, streaming platforms and content not available in your country. Simply go to nordvpn.com/naturalworldfacts or use a coupon code naturalworldfacts to get a 2-year plan plus a bonus gift with a huge discount. Thanks for watching.
In the Philippine jungle, the so-called roads are mostly just sort of tracks. Serious accidents happen all the time. But for the farmers of the fertile high plateau, the Hasima Highway is the only possible route to deliver their goods in the valley. Whoever drives here must forget about fear. The Halsema Highway is situated in the northern Philippines on the main island Luzon. The road is 166 kilometers long and runs through the high mountains up to an altitude of 3,000 meters. Albert Killy earns his living by driving a jeepney. He calls his passengers into his taxi by beeping the horn. Twice a day, Albert has a fixed tour. From Sagada, high up in the mountains down to the valley, it takes just short of an hour. Every tour is an adventure. Up here in the high mountains, there is frequent fog and heavy rainfall.
We are used to these weather conditions, but it's very difficult for visitors to drive here. There's a lot of heavy rainfall and the fog is especially treacherous.
Medyo marigatan na yung drive. Mas nang nagtunay kapan di udan.
Albert's jeepney is 20 years old and compared to local standards, relatively new. The vehicle is a replica of an American military truck. You'll find these jeepneys all across the Philippines. They are the main means of local transport.
It's tiring if you have to drive every day. If you're lucky, you have a fast driver. But some of them drive so slowly, it's a time killer.
Super bagal hinahabol mo yung oras mo.
The locals expect the driver to drive fast. Safety comes second.
Then in Europe, it's quite crazy, you know. But it was fine. We were safe, so.
You shouldn't be afraid to get on these old vehicles. The locals earn very little money, and so the ride to the next town shouldn't cost more than a few cents. Albert's jeepney will be used until it falls apart. The bad weather disappears just as suddenly as it arrived. Compared to Philippine standards, the climate in the mountains is extraordinarily chilly. Temperatures only very seldom rise above 25 degrees. Whoever wants to escape from the heat spends his holidays in Sagada, where it's cooler. Dennis Bing Eel lives on the outskirts of Sagada. He's a bus driver.
Before the journey begins, we have to check the tires, the screws, and the air pressure. You can tell by the sound whether they hold enough pressure. If you don't have a puncture, you're all set for the trip on the Halsema Highway.
Dennis is responsible for 50 passengers. Before each trip, he services the bus, which includes checking the brake fluid, as the Halsema Highway is steep. You may run into an obstacle behind every curve. Dennis can tell just by hearing its sound whether the engine is running well.
As long as the engine is looked after well enough and the tires are new, even an old car will manage the trip. The older your vehicle is, the more you need to look after it in order to safely make the journey on the highway.
On this morning, jeepney driver Albert is bringing a few tourists up the mountains. Albert loves these extra tours. They are the icing on the cake for him.
When I'm driving, I get to know different people and make new friends. I like that. It makes driving so much fun. And sometimes I'm lucky and someone hires me for a longer trip.
The art student Rocky and his friends have taken their seats on the roof. They are heading for Kalinga, where a legendary tattoo artist lives.
It's very painful, and afterwards your skin is very sensitive. You have to be very careful with your arm for a few months. Look, that's a unique design from this region. And what about you? Are you getting a tattoo?
Kalinga is an isolated and remote village in the mountains. To get there, you must travel a track that branches off Halsema Highway for the last kilometers. Albert picks up a couple of students on his way. They are happy to get a ride. A few bends further up, Albert's jeepney comes to a halt. This is where the road ends.
Bye, bye.
Rocky and his friends have to walk up the mountain the last few kilometers. Kalinga is a retreat for some of the Philippine Aboriginal natives. Their culture always has been rather warlike. The tattoos were supposed to deter enemies. Fang Od is 96 years old. Her legendary reputation as the oldest living tattoo artist reaches far beyond her home village.
Yes, I'm in my 90s. I still tattoo because we need the money. Otherwise, we wouldn't have enough to eat. We don't have any paddy fields. I have no choice. If no one supports me, I'll have to keep on tattooing.
Fang Od just needs a bamboo cane, a needle, and some coal.
Back in the old days, you used to get a tattoo like this if you went to war. You'd get one if you killed someone too. That's how our ancestors did it. Tattoos were mainly connected to warfare.
For Rocky, this is both a test of courage and a desire to closely experience the traditions. As long as there is no road leading up to Kalinga, this place will remain remote. So for another while, the traditions will be preserved. Back in Sagada, Dennis and his cross-country bus is already waiting for passengers. Every hour, the buses drive from Sagada all the way along the Halsema Highway to the city of Baguio, almost 150 kilometers away. It takes them 7 to 8 hours. Bus driver Dennis drives along the Halsema Highway every day.
You know what? I like the Halsema. It's my home.
For the inhabitants of the mountains, the bus is the cheapest way to cover greater distances, no matter whether they need to get to the nearest city or even to Manila. Dennis has been working as a bus driver for 25 years. He never takes a break. Only if the bus breaks down would he take a day off. He only gets paid if he drives. The route leads from Sagada down to the river valley of the Chico River. From there, it leads on through the craggy mountains to Buguyas. In the meantime, the Halsema Highway has been asphalted in most parts, but up here, coming down from Sagada, the road still looks the same as decades ago, narrow, bumpy, and dusty. There used to be hardly any hard shoulders. A trip to Baguio would often take more than 10 hours. Sandy is 21 and works as a bus conductor. He sells the tickets on the bus. A ride to Baguio costs 220 pesos, which is not even 4 euros. For most of the locals, it's half a day's wage. The bus slowly struggles down the road. There are an endless amount of roadworks on the way downhill. The construction workers need to watch out for the many buses and trucks. They are a permanent threat. There are hardly any machines in use at the roadworks. Whatever the mixer spits out will be spread out on the road surface by the workers' shovels. Hard physical labor.
If we get tired, we slow down. But if we have good food, it means we're stronger. If we have proper food, for example beef, we're happy and strong enough to even carry bigger stones and build walls.
Whoever works here has to learn to make the most of it. Sometimes there'll be no cement for a whole day, which means sitting around all day and waiting. But as they say, somehow it always works out. The many roadworks on the Halsema Highway have been obstructing the traffic for many years now. The drivers have learned to be patient. They hope that one day there will be a paved road leading down the mountain. Untiringly, Dennis battles his way down the road every day anew.
Back when the whole highway was like this, you used to have only one lane and it was damn slippery. Just one false move, one braking error. If you were at a dangerous spot, you'd fall down the canyon.
During the rainy season, typhoons and huge masses of water often lead to landslides and block the road. At the dangerous spots, the workers build supporting walls into the mountain to stop the slopes from sliding. In some places, the street is a construction site, a road, and the children's way to school, all at the same time. When Dennis has finally passed the last major roadworks with his bus, he arrives at a well-paved section of the Halsema Highway. Down in the valley, the road follows the course of the Chico River for a few kilometers. During the rainy season, it rises and turns into a torrent. It takes courage and intuition to master the bridge across the Chico. For years, it's been a patchwork bridge made of old logs and planks. The same morning, Albert is driving his taxi along the Chico River too. He is driving a very special tour, young musicians and dancers. Albert is taking them from their high school to a performance at the district town of Bontac. If the jeepney is full, the remaining passengers have to sit on the roof. Bontac lies at only 800 meters altitude. The temperatures down here are much higher and are favorable for the traditional cultivation of rice. But Bontoc is mainly a business and administration city, and so most of Albert's tours on the Halsema go there. The rest of the passengers had to get off at the outskirts of Bontoc. In the city, passengers are not allowed on the roof, but making music is always allowed. The traditional culture and the tribal rituals are still very much alive here. Every school often has various groups who perform dances on the city squares.
The elders, which are called warriors, are our ancestors and models. Back then, everyone went out hunting for boars, deer, or water buffaloes. They were warriors and went out hunting in the mountains.
After the tour is before the tour. Albert has 4 kids. His wife earns some extra money by running a little shop, but that is just about enough to sustain the family.
I need to always be ready to drive. When I've reached my destination, I go looking for customers here in the city. I take a look around, talk to people. That's the best I can do. Maybe I find a few tourists, make some extra money. I only have to be prepared, then it'll work.
And so, Albert has to try his luck on the Halsema Highway every day anew. The highway is named after its constructor, the American engineer Eusebius Halsema. It was first designed as a footpath in the 20s of the last century. For the people living here, the Halsema is a blessing and a curse at the same time. It helps develop the region, but also claims many lives. Up until today, it is considered to be one of the most dangerous roads in the world due to its bad condition. For Dennis and his passengers, the Halsema is a true challenge every single time.
I think by now I know every single turn on the Halsema. With the amount of time I spent driving it, the street has engraved itself into my memory. I know the slippery parts, the tricky slopes, and the sections where the rocks come down. Many horrible accidents have claimed lives here, and cars have fallen into the abyss. This section might be the worst. If you apply the brakes carelessly, you start skidding immediately.
The passengers are aware of the dangers too.
This section of the street has so many bends. Horrible. It's so high up it scares me. I'm already exhausted, and it's better if I just keep my mouth shut.
Everyone here has heard stories of horrible accidents.
There are many reasons why so many accidents happen.
Mechanical problem, negative fog.
Most of them happen because of technical problems with the old cars.
Typhoon.
But the weather also plays a role.
Landslide.
There's dense fog, rain, and worst of all, typhoons and landslides. That's the way things happen here on the Halsema. This road has claimed many lives.
But the Halsema also offers economical opportunities. A dozen small dealers make money in this village with the passing traffic. More than 50 buses stop here every day.
So here we have nuts with the popular adobo flavor. We buy it per kilo in the city and then put it in small bags. This is garlic flavored and this is sweet peanut.
Business goes especially well on the public holidays. That's when everyone working in the big cities drives back to their families in the mountains. After taking a short break, Dennis continues to force his bus along the winding road. The Hadsima Highway also attracts tourists. Bikers from the capital city appreciate the winding ride on the legendary highway. For a week, this group is traveling the mountains with their historic British military motorcycle. Last night was a trial of courage for the motorcycle club from Manila. They had to endure continuous rainfall with poor visibility for several hundred kilometers.
This road is not a joke. Actually, it is my first time here, and I'm lucky enough to have these guys with me.
The ride last night was fun. Adrenaline, thrills. You cannot even see the road because of the fogs, and it's raining, and we are very, very cold. And it's nice. Landslide.
Basically, it's dangerous, actually. We're not saying it's a good thing to do.
After last night's wild ride, the bikers are taking it easy today on their winding tour, leading ever deeper into the remote mountains of the high plateau. In the meantime, Dennis has already covered half the distance of the Hadsima Highway. He has arrived at the Philippine Salad Bowl. This is where all the vegetables for the region and the capital city, Manila, are grown. The Hadsima provides the farmers with everything they need for agriculture. Off the highway, there are still almost only wild tracks, though. Romeo Cagayan is a farmer. In order to reach his field, which is 3 kilometers away, he must endure a good shaking. A strain for man and material.
When we arrive home after this stretch, we can still feel the road. Your hips are hurting. Your body's tired. This path really wears you down. You should have your wife giving you a massage afterwards.
Today, Romeo and his helpers are harvesting radish and cabbage. Afterwards, he has to drive the harvest directly to the central market at the end of the highway. Prices are higher if he sells fresh from the field. His helpers have already started working. There are no reapers. Everything is done by hand. The radish is washed and packaged already on the field. The wholesalers expect it that way. Romeo's job as a farmer has changed considerably over the past years. The highway has become much more important for him.
I used to only be a farmer. When I bought a truck, I suddenly had 2 professions, farmer and driver. Because I delivered vegetables for everyone. I have employees that do the planting for me because I'm mostly driving now.
Julius Kuryab is a sales representative for a seed company. There is strong competition, and so he visits the farmers in the fields to find out what they need. On these narrow paths, it's much quicker to take the motorbike. This way, he can visit up to half a dozen clients a day.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm Julius from Seedworks. Since you're growing carrots, I brought some seeds for you to try out.
This way, Romeo is able to order his seeds right in the middle of his field.
It's good for business to come here by motorcycle, and we're used to these kinds of roads. It's normal for us, even if it's just a bumpy track. We've learned to live with it.
Romeo and his men must hurry. If they want the goods to be on the market today, they have only a few hours left. If Romeo arrives too late, he has to wait until the next day, a great financial loss because the price will have gone down. Meanwhile, Dennis is still driving his bus through the salad bowl. He and his passengers have already made it halfway. Time for lunch break. The passengers leave the bus somewhat stiff-legged after the long, winding journey. They have 20 minutes to move around and quickly take a bite of something. Dennis has been loyal to the Morning Star restaurant for 25 years now, ever since he started driving the Halsema. The lunch costs 100 pesos, almost 2 euros. For most people, it's a lot of money, and not everyone can afford it. Dennis and his conductor Sandy enjoy free catering. After all, their buses bring customers.
We always eat here. We eat quickly so we can move on quickly and get home early.
Eat quickly, move on quickly, and drive quickly. They haven't yet made half the journey, and there are still many bends to come. A few kilometers further on. Again and again, severe accidents occur on the highway. Last year, a school bus with 15 students crashed and fell 100 meters into the canyon. 12 students died. The others were badly injured.
We have 2 patients.
This exercise is supposed to prepare paramedics for the many accidents.
All of us are paramedics from the region. We practice for emergencies as realistically as possible. These horrible things happen here, so we practice a lot to learn new techniques and get a feel for the situation and how serious the injuries are.
Farmer Romeo's house is in Buguyas, situated directly at the highway. From here, it's not far to the fields, and he can head off straight to the central market. As always, his wife tells him to drive carefully. Too much has happened, and she knows that Romeo is in a hurry to be at the market on time. From Buguyas, which is halfway down the highway, it takes 3 to 4 hours to reach the city of Baguio with its 500,000 inhabitants. Romeo has been driving the highway for more than 20 years, rain or shine. Even a bad typhoon couldn't stop him a couple of years ago. Once he had a brake failure, and he just about managed to save his truck by driving into a wall. Romeo knows the old cars are always good for a surprise.
What happened? Broken?
No, the filter was filled with dirt, so I must have to repair. Oh, this is we'll fix it there up. No, oh.
Romeo is not only a farmer and a driver, but also a car mechanic by now. He owns several old trucks, and one of them could always break down.
Okay. Second one. Chamba phải làm. Yeah. Yeps. Yeps. Gagawin mo.
What can you do?
Ang gawin mo yan mag-isa.
You have to watch out for yourself.
Repair gabi man o.
Even in the middle of the night. Do not rely on others when it comes to fixing your own truck.
Not such a big deal. The air filter is dirty, and Romeo can clean it himself. It doesn't even take half an hour to repair the damage.
Oh. Oo nga, kaya kung nasiraan kang
Things like these happen often here. We're prepared.
makahabol sa biyahe.
But only if you fix it immediately you can save your goods. I need to be at the central market on time, or else my vegetables will go bad.
Presyo tsaka yung karga mo hindi maburok. Ayan.
So now Romeo will drive even faster in order to not have to queue up until the next morning and not to have to sleep over at the central market. Everywhere along the highway, the farmers and their families have settled between the canyon and the road. Most of them own only small fields, which are in fact illegal, but the authorities let them be. Three years ago, a typhoon dragged a few houses down into the canyon. In the meantime, the inhabitants have rebuilt them. They want to stay on in spite of the danger, since they have no alternative. Vilma and Caprio Kismin are harvesting. They have grown their sayote fruits directly into the steep slope. The selling of the fruits is their sole income.
We've decided to live right at the Hausima because it's more practical. That way we can harvest the fruits and bring them straight to the market.
They have to carry their meager harvest up the mountain on foot. During the rainy season, they can hardly set foot on their field without risking falling down the wet slope. A sack of these pumpkin-like fruits brings them 300 pesetas, a bit more than €5.
I wish there was somebody there to help us. Then we would immediately leave this place. Because it's really very, very dangerous. But this is how we make a living.
At kung yung ano na naman, yung isa pang
We worry a lot about the cars.
yung sasakyan dahil kung
We
yung
try to
mga
bring
bata,
and pick up our children from school.
pauwi nila kaya sinusunod
The traffic is scary.
nakakatakot yung mga sasakyan. Yung
The street is really dangerous and there are many
dito
accidents.
sa amin na maraming
I'm very
accident
worried.
sa kalye. Kaya yun ang tinatakutan ko dito.
Even if he's in a great hurry, Romeo stops the truck to visit them.
Uy, hello, asik adin na
Hi, how are you?
Sina?
Sorry for being so late, but I had a breakdown and had to clean the filter.
Banda na edu silas diyan na pulatan si Crudo isong ade.
Let's carry your fruit onto the truck.
Asiyak mandardar sa ano sa muta di uli pasang ta asik ito sini siya.
ade.
Okay. Asa ka mo kay mangilak lakos di. Oh, okay.
Romeo knows how hard it is for the family and tries to help them by taking their fruit to the market. It always tends to get foggy in the afternoon. During the day, the tropical sun warms the humid air. It rises. In the afternoon, it condenses to fog in the mountains, and it starts to rain. Within a short period of time, the highway then turns into a dangerously slippery track. Sometimes there is a change in the weather from one mountain to the next. Dennis ended up right in the middle of this dense fog.
We know our Halsima. It gets foggy every afternoon. Sometimes it's so bad that you can't see the road anymore. You have to be very careful to stay on the road.
Ay higit lang hindi makikita mo yung dadaanan. Kaya nga mag-ingat-ingat para hindi ka maano sa bangin.
Farmer Romeo was lucky. He reached the valley before the fog did.
The Halsima is dangerous, but at least it doesn't hurt as much. The bumpy tracks we usually travel hurt so much you can't even sleep at night. The Halsima has been paved almost everywhere now, which makes it a bit more comfortable.
In the end, Romeo did make it. He arrived in the city on time. And he catches a stand with the cooperative from his village. It organizes the sale of vegetables for its local farmers. Romeo is allowed to pass the queue, but he too has spent whole nights queuing up.
I'm very lucky. I didn't have to queue up and got in straight away. My cabbage will stay fresh.
The market is run by the state. Farmers from the whole region sell their products to the salesmen coming from the neighboring cities. Soon, a potential buyer for Romeo's harvest shows up.
You like my vegetables?
Let's see.
How much can you pay?
I'll give you 18 per kilo.
Come on, a bit more. I could sell it for more, you know?
It doesn't work that way, brother.
The customer buys the whole load for 18 pesos a kilo, 35 cents if converted to euros. And Romeo has to wrap every single cabbage into newspaper twice and put them into sacks.
Great. I quickly sold my cabbage for a good price.
Now he just needs to get rid of his radish to make this a really good day. Baguio lies at 1,500 meters and is normally seen as a summer resort. But it's a fast-growing city, and so traffic is growing too. On some days, the smog and smut make it hard for the people to even breathe. Dennis has been steering his bus along the winding highway for more than 8 hours now.
Sanay na ako sa dadaan ng biyahe ng 7.
I don't mind the driving. 7 to 8 hours are normal for me.
Hindi mo makakapagod yan. Kapagod ka, wala kang pera.
If you give up too easily, you won't make money, and your family stays hungry.
Kaya nga, huwag kang mapagod para kahit pagod ka, trabaho rin.
The bus terminal in Baguio. This is where passengers from all over the country arrive. Dennis will spend the night here and sleep in his bus. Tomorrow, he'll be back in his living room, the Hasima Highway.
Okay. Parating na sa Baguio. Oh, Sally.
Come on, Sandy. Enough for today. Let's thank God for driving well and safe and without an accident.
Ayos.